So I just wanted to show you what we're going to design. This is a stairway with railing, and you can customize it to whatever width and height and how many steps and all of that you want. So a new extension that I wrote with my husband's help and use of his subroutine, so let's get on with it. Okay then, we are in Inkscape and I want to show you how to use the extension. It's very easy and you'll be able to construct a staircase like this without too much problem. So here's our extensions. We've already installed it. If you need help, I'll put a link to how we install them, but it's basically moving 2 files into your extension directory. We're going to go to Papercraft, Extensions, Papercraft, and StairRails. And we have a dialog box that will open with 3 tabs, plus a help, which is not really helpful right now. See the PDF if you need to review any of the settings. So here are the settings. This is the staircase width. That is how wide this part of your staircase is. The staircase height, how tall it is from the bottom to basically the top of your landing. The staircase depth, how far from the beginning of the landing to the end of the staircase. How many steps you want, that counts the landing. So 1, 2, and 3. This is also counted as a stair. If you want to think of it in terms of uprights instead, this is a stair upright here and here and here. That's also 3. The landing length is the length from side to side of your landing. The depth is the depth of your landing from back to front. The rail height is how far above your landing that you want your handrail to be. The rail bars per step has to do with how many rails you want per step. So in my case, I said 3. So it starts out 1, 2, and 3 rails per each of my steps. Now that can vary depending on how long your staircase is and how tall it is. So sometimes you just want to take a look and see if you like the looks of it. If not, Control Z back out and do it again with a different setting. The back rail gap is this rail gap right here. That's where if you have this against the back wall of a house or something, you may want to have a door there. So that's how wide you want the gap to be. I set it to 2 inches, which happens to be the same as the width of my staircase, which is easier, it makes it easier in some ways to assemble. And the dimensional units, be sure you're working in the right dimensional units. It defaults to 1 inch. In the Advanced tab, you can set a rail to gap ratio. So if you want your rails to be wider in relationship to the gaps between them, you can change it there. The stair off center, if instead of being smack dab in the center of my landing, I wanted it, say, flush with the edge or moved over a little bit to the right or the left, I can change the numbers here, and you can play with that and see what you like. Centered is normally what you'll want, so just set it to 0. And the same thing for this back gap back over here. If you wanted your door, say, over at this edge, you wanted the gap to be there, you can change that. Normally the gap will be in the center, so setting it at 0 is what you want. If I wanted a rail at the top of my staircase, normally there will be a door there, a gap, but let's say that you wanted to have a rail at the top because maybe you've got the wall of your house here and you're coming up your stairs this way and this part would be open, so you'd need a rail. Just check this box here. Okay. Rail thickness has to do with the thickness of the handrail up here. So if you increase that, those rails will be thicker. And the gap underneath the rails in dimensional units, I have mine set to 0.2, so you can see that underneath the rails, these uprights raise it up a certain amount. Let's see, you probably see better over here. that it's raised up somewhat from the landing. So that's how high it is. Usually you don't have to change these, but you can play around with it until you get like you like. The tabs and scores give you a couple of options. If for some reason you want to change the angle of the tab edges or the height of the tab, you can. I don't recommend going too much over 1/4 of an inch, but well, it's up to you. If you set the length of your dash line to 0, you will get solid score lines. So if you're using a scoring tool rather than cutting your score lines, this is where you would want to change that. And other than that, all you have to do after you make those settings to be the kind of staircase you want to fit your house is click apply. It will work at it for a little bit. You can close this dialog box, and here's all your pieces. So they're going to be on top of each other. You can just grab them and spread them out. These are the stair rails. The only thing you need to know about this is this slanted rail. You must duplicate, Control D, and up here you're going to mirror it. So right on this guy right there, okay? You want to mirror it. So I Control D, and then I'm going to click on that one, and that gives me my mirror. It's not all that important to mirror it if you don't have any textured paper, if you're just using a smooth paper that's the same on both sides. But this will allow your rail to be facing out on the other side. So this piece and this piece are, sorry, grab the wrong ones, are uprights. They will go at the end of the stairs. This is the bottom of your staircase. This is the side of your landing. Anything in pink is decorative paper. So I'm just going to kind of pull that out of the way. You'll match it up, I'm sure. Back out of this a little bit. This is the other landing side. You won't have landing sides if your landing is the same width as your staircase. And by the way, if you try to make your landing narrower than your staircase, it's going to change it back to the width of your staircase. You can't have a landing that's narrower than your staircase. It's just one of the limitations. These are another one of our uprights. Another landing side. If you want to know what these are, just come over here, click on one, and you'll see this is the right landing side. This is the left landing side. You want to know what this is? Well, that's the back. So it's easy to tell what these pieces are. You can always leave this up as a reference. I'm going to turn off snapping here so I can move things a little easier. Then what you have a couple of different kinds of uprights. You have the flag upright that goes at the base of your stairs. You have the long upright that's going to go at the top of your stairs. And you've got your short uprights that are going to go on the corners. And anywhere where you have an angle change, a corner. So, for instance, there would be one here on your landing, one here, one here, one here. And also optionally, you could put one at either side of your door, your gap at the back. So those are the pieces, and we'll see them in a lot better detail once we start constructing it. You will need to make 3 extra copies at least of this long one, because you're going, actually you'll need 1 more copy of the long one minimally. So make 1 copy of that, Control D, and then at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. So duplicate that 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times Control D. Okay. So this just gives you the short uprights that you need. These are the long uprights. These are the flag uprights. And when we're constructing it, you'll see how all of these fit together. Got a couple more of these. Should have a total of 6, which we do. And that's going to go at the back gap, the corner back, and the corner front on each side. That's why we need 6. So that's all there is to making this. There's not much else to it. You can save it, bring it into your cutting software, and go on from there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring this up in either Design Space or Silhouette Studio. I'm going to cut the pieces, and then we'll show you how to do the assembly.